The Good Place was Michael Schur's fourth sitcom series that ran from 2016 to 2020, where we follow the main character, Eleanor Shallstrop, played by Kristen Bell, as she is wrongfully placed in the Good Place whenever she enters the afterlife. From there, she enlists the help of her soulmate, Chidi Anagoni, played by William Jackson Harper, who happens to be a moral philosophy professor, in order to earn her place and become a better person. Throughout season one, we are watching her become a better person as we meet the main characters, Tahani Al Jamil, Jason Mendoza, Michael, and Janet, played respectively by Jamila Jamil, Manny Jacinto, Ted Danson, and Darcy Carden. Only for it to be revealed at the end of season one that they have been in the bad place this whole time, and Michael is a demon who has architected this whole experiment, essentially. If that reveal wasn't enough, we then get 3 more seasons of higher stakes, a lot of hilarity, and very powerful lessons while we watch this main cast become better people, heal from their trauma, in order to learn what it is to actually be a better person. This is exactly why The Good Place is one of my favorite TV shows till this day. Welcome to Mario Watches Everything, where we dive too deeply in shows that I deem too important. With me today is my guest, Justin, as we discuss The Good Place. Hi, Justin.
Hi, Mari. How are you
I'm
doing?
good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm fairly caffeinated, so I'm ready to get this
Perfect.
going.
Perfect. I'm hydrating as well, so we're going to do this. It's a good show to talk about. Justin and I initially connected because of our love for The Good Place. We've discussed the show's themes, relevancy, and style constantly, and we appreciate our own personal connection to the characters and their representation. I know you have your own social ties to the show, which we will get into, but it's your advocacy for the Filipino representation that made me want you as my guest today. So welcome and thank you. I'm so excited to talk to you about this fantastic show.
Thank you again for inviting me, especially this being your first one. Like, I'm a bit honored, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yes, part of the kind of amazing connection I have to the show is, as you pointed out, I have a huge, being Filipino American. My biggest goal is always pushing in and sharing and creating representation of the Filipino American experience as well, and just Filipinos in media. There is so little out there, surprisingly, still, and
Mhm.
even every 2 steps forward, it's like 8 steps forward something else that people almost
Mm.
forget about the Filipino culture, despite the fact there's so many Filipinos everywhere. So
Yeah.
this show caught my attention for being one of the few American television projects to actually felt like really fully represent Filipino characters.
The biggest thing about the show is the fact that they're casting of Filipino actors, even for Pakistani actors playing Filipino and Pakistani characters. I
Hmm.
think that is something that like stands out, which is so silly because you would think that who you cast would be who they would represent. But
You would
unfortunately in
think,
Western media that is it's a novel experience. And The Good
right?
Place really made sure to do it right.
Hmm.
So it's something need to be celebrated. Before we get into all of that, let's just talk about The Good Place in general, because I know we have a lot of feelings when it comes to the representation and those characters. But when I say The Good Place, like, what are your thoughts and feelings?
Overall, it's a show that I felt like beyond just even the representation, it's one of the most unique, thought provoking, extremely funny, and imaginative television shows in like the last decade or so. And the idea that like the show gets to play with so many themes and messaging while still making you extremely laugh is a
Yeah.
real testament to kind of just like I'm a big Michael Schur fan, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Oh
Like
yeah. 100%.
with Parks and Recs, Brooklyn Nine Nine, and like I almost feel like the Good Place solidified. Like, oh, I'm if I see his name, I'm like gonna be a lot more hopeful about
Yeah.
the outcome of the show.
hmm What I really like about Michael Schur is like, of course, like so he has like the big four, right? The Office,
Hmm.
we have Parks and Rec, we have Brooklyn Nine Nine, and The Good Place, and you can really see him transition from each project into like the meaning and messaging of what he wanted. And
Yeah.
like this is why I think The Good Place always stands out to me the most from the four, is because like his biggest thing is like what we owe to each other, which is a heavy theme in The Good Place, a heavy theme in his books. and like he really wanted us to like sit with the moral philosophy of it all. And it's so crazy
Yeah.
because like a sitcom is not the place for moral philosophy, but this show really emphasized it and they sold it so well. And I just like give a lot of respect for Michael Schur just dedicating a show to like what he believed and wanted to focus on that.
Oh yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
it's great because like that's kind of the power of humor.
Yeah.
Humor is such a great delivery
Yeah.
device on setting your message out there without like hammering it in there.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously too, when you have a show where you create really likable, enduring characters, that actually allows the message to be even more palatable because you're also rooting for your characters, your leads to succeed in what's happening to them, especially with a show that's about the giant quandary of what is good.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. Which is, and the fact that they did it in 4 seasons is such a
right.
task. The 2 things that, so as like sitcom lovers, I think the other thing that gets to me about the show is that A, it like subverts the sitcom like formula on its
Yeah.
head because sitcom situational comedy, but there's no one situation in The Good Place. One
No.
would argue there's no situation of The Good Place.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
but the situation is the characters, right? Which
Right.
is feels in itself. But then they
Mm.
went in knowing like we're only gonna do 4 seasons. They had this direct idea, and this has made me been like a big advocate of like I want shows that know exactly how they want to end, and I
Mhm,
just feel
mhm.
like those shows always land better. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender, for example,
Right,
landed so
right,
well
right.
with those 3 seasons.
Right.
But like The Good Place also is like another 4 seasons, 13 episodes. But like it's not amount of time you have; it's what you do with that time, and The Good Place
Yeah.
shows it.
Yeah. And all in a weird kind of way that almost that statement you just said, almost, to be a little big and heady, is almost how you should approach your life. You only have a certain amount of
True.
time, and the show almost basically allows you to kind of go like, look at all these our leads who feel like they didn't do enough in their life when they were living and trying to fix that in the 4 seasons of the show. And
Hmm.
what they accomplish is kind of amazing by the time you get to the
Yeah.
end of it.
They accomplish so much. We'll talk about this too whenever we do the second part, but like
Yeah.
every season's so different too. So the fact that they accomplish so much in even 13 episodes per season,
Yeah.
and when that like little formula they have is, I don't know, a real testament to Michael Schur. So yeah, number one fan forever because of The Good Place for sure. I always
Mhm.
loved him because of Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Of course,
Yeah.
The Office like has basically like reinvented workplace comedies, but like The Good Place is just something that will always stand out to me.
Right.
What do you?
Yeah.
Why do you believe the show is still so good and relevant to this day?
Because the themes are just things we are constantly struggling with. Like what it is to be good. What do we define as good, right? Like I
True.
think
Yeah.
right now, not to go very political, as we're kind of dealing with some really tumultuous times, I think a lot about this show more than ever. Actually,
Right.
I had the discussion with a friend yesterday about the moral quandary of shopping at places that you want to feel like you're not supporting your ideals, right? And
Yep.
but then you start realizing how many companies are connected to things that you don't morally agree with, but you don't want to support, but you also use their products to your day to day. I just go back to Maya Rudolph's Judge.
Yeah. That whole scene played back to me just now. Yep.
Right, exactly. I think about that scene where she's like, I tried to do this, and that turned out to do this. Even if I tried to do this, that turned out to be this connected to this. And it's like,
Yes.
yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, that's literally the whole answer. That episode is so powerful because it's like I think they talked about how they wanted to send flowers to your grandmother, but
Right.
like where did you ethically source those flowers and
Right.
who delivered those flowers and what kind of day? But then I also think of Jason, who like obviously okay, so Jason Mendoza is a personal favorite character, and he's gonna be brought up a lot
Oh
because
yeah.
we have a big appreciation for this character,
Mhm.
and he just goes into like, but like you don't know what everyone's going through. So yeah, you can do all this research and then try to like be the most ethical when you approach even shopping. But again, you have a 9 to 5. We
Mhm.
have these terrible like eggs cost $14.
Right,
Like, we
right.
literally can't do this anymore. Like,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
then that's just people like without families, even considering all their like extra responsibilities. The show is so human. The show is
Yeah.
like actually so real and human.
That's a really good way of putting it because like certain older shows can age, because of
Yeah.
time and what we as a society have moved on from. But
Hmm.
the theming of just being human on Earth, and trying to do the right thing in the good place is probably the reason why that show is going to get like a new audience every
Yeah.
couple of years. Like maybe there'll be a lull, and all of a sudden, 5 years from now, the kids will be discovering, yeah,
Yeah, no, I
focusing on,
completely agree. It's so amazing because I do think there are a few shows that can stand the test of time, and it's
Mhm.
either because they didn't want to age or because they somehow were able to pick on themes that will always be universal. And The Good Place is
Yeah,
one of those shows.
100%.
It's also I think one of my favorite things about Good Place and that you mentioned before is that it's so freaking funny. It's just so funny. Like just everything about it. Like so we're going to be discussing the Ballad of Donkey Doug later, and like when I tell you this has to be one of the funniest episodes I think I've ever watched ever
I,
in
I was
my
watching.
life.
I was watching it on my lunch break at work before I recorded today, and it was really hard to not be really obnoxiously loud
Yeah,
during the
yeah,
break room one. I'm sorry.
yeah. And there's a lot of funny episodes out there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of shows that I will rewatch. I'm like, this is hilarious, but they never stay politically correct. They feel also awkward. You feel a little
Hmm.
cringy watching it. But there's something about the jokes and delivery of this show. Again, I've rewatched The Good Place numerous times. I cannot count. I rewatched this episode maybe like 3 times for this episode to prepare, and I laughed every single time, Justin. But so this gets into like a really important topic that we're bringing up: the fact that they cast Filipino Pakistani descent
Yeah.
actors for their characters. How did this make you feel as someone who like advocates for Filipino representation, who has
Um,
seen Filipino representation but not in the way it should be shown?
it was a relief because, especially, yeah, I guess we'll mild spoilers in season one.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
when Jason is introduced, he is not introduced as Jason Mendoza. He's
Yeah. True.
introduced as Shan Yu,
Yeah.
a meditative Buddhist, silent, no speaking, non-verbal
I
man.
think he's Taiwanese. They say, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that
Yeah.
the actor was Filipino. I just went, "Oh,
Mhm.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
That's the character."
Yeah.
So when he reveals himself, it's like, "My name is Jason. I'm from Florida, and but everyone keeps calling me Taiwan. I'm Filipino." And I went, "Oh my god."
The best ongoing joke is the fact that Heaven is racist. I'm just saying that. I don't care. Like the fact that he brings it up and
Yeah.
then Pillboy brings it up again.
Yeah.
Spoilers for season 4. But like Philip's like, wait, is Heaven racist? Maybe we should ask ourselves that. Is Heaven racist? It
Yes,
might
but I
be.
just I look, I I don't know if I'm here
Yeah,
for that. I don't know
maybe
if
we're not equipped to
I'm
talk
the
about
right
it on my
person
podcast,
to start
but
the show, or if I'm the right person to say that, but let's just definitely say in the heaven of the good place, maybe a little racist.
just a
A
little, just
little
a little
racist.
racist.
But it was a relief, and then kind of realizing that he's playing a dope.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
agreed.
like a very stupid but likable guy, but a very stupid guy. And
But hot. I want to emphasize
look,
hot.
I saw what happened during the Acolyte,
Yeah,
and
which was a
and
second wave for viewers for The Good Place, which we love to see.
100%. And I saw the rise of Manny fans growing for rightful reasons.
Yeah, as it
Rightful.
should have been.
I'm an action figure collector, and I have some Star Wars memorabilia.
Yeah,
So of course I'm still waiting for the day of Manny's character becoming an action figure, because I'm like a
yeah.
little. I mean, come on, guys! I need those
No,
arms.
I don't know why it hasn't been done yet. For if it wasn't for the acolyte, that is messed up. It should
Right.
have been done
It should
beforehand.
be
Yeah,
no. Like I'm waiting for those arms to be sculpted and 6 inches.
those arms were meant to be an action figure. If there was ever arms ever in history that needed to be an action figure, is Manny Jacinto's arms.
100%.
Yeah.
But anyway,
This podcast is actually sponsored by his arms, so
yeah,
check
no,
those out, please.
don't please don't forget to check out his arms.com
Yeah,
and
at Manny Jacinto. Anyways,
no, it's
no,
Yeah,
Much do, yeah.
100%. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the reason why I bring up the hot thing for me specifically is because, like, so Tahani is of Pakistani descent, and
Mhm,
Jamil Al Jamil, who plays Tahani, is also of Pakistani descent, right?
mhm, right.
And normally, and this is one of my favorite things about the representation, is that it subverts the expectations of the representation itself
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Because usually, though everyone's hot in this show, and it's represented that everyone is hot in this show,
Right.
um, Tahani and Jason literally act as like the arm candy characters. Like they're
Oh, yeah.
introduced as the hot, perfect people, and that's all they are. And it's like, yeah, and the fact that like there's so many conversations about are Asians hot, and it's like, yes, they are. They've
Yes,
always
yes.
been. And we always will be. And the show proves
Mhm.
it. So I really feel like the show was just trying to prove that fact. Like they've always been hot, though. You know?
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And that's why I think it's a very important part. Like I know it's so silly, but it's an important part because like I've definitely had this conversation about like South Asian female characters always being like the butt of the joke, or if it's like such a novel thing that they get the main love interest.
Mhm,
We know exactly who I'm talking about. Nod, wink, Mindy Kaling shows. And here's the good place, like standing the test of time with it.
mhm,
Aside from
mhm.
New Girl, where the hot character is the brown girl.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
And I think, like, that's kind of another thing too where I remember, so kind of going way, way back,
Yeah.
there was a movie called Better Luck Tomorrow.
Okay.
And it's Justin Lin's very first feature film that he directed,
Uh-huh.
and that film contained like high to pitch that movie a little bit. That movie's about a group of like like honor roll Asian American students who do like mild criminal activity on
Okay.
the side, but can cover up that activity because they're the perfect students. They're the
Mm.
guy, the folks who get
I'm surprised I've never
4.0s.
heard of this like movie before. This sounds
Oh,
great.
highly recommend it.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like they're they're the perfect, they're like perfect because of the fact they can hide behind the veil of being perfect students,
Hmm.
kids who are always on time at school, blah blah blah. They can sell drugs and do other things on the side.
Yeah.
And the movie premiered at Sundance, and the
Okay.
very famous story is as they did this premiere and the movie got an amazing reception, there was a Q&A, and there was a woman or somebody who pointed out that they felt that they should be ashamed of having made such a big making a feature film but then showcasing Asians in such a negative light. Like, how dare you do that? Why would you show us doing these things?
Hmm.
And in the audience, who stands up is Roger Ebert.
Oh.
And he
Wow.
goes, first off, I want to say the movie's amazing. Second off, how dare you tell people how their people should be represented? How dare you say they can't be done this way because that is the story they want to tell, and it doesn't matter how they should be represented. It depends on how they are using the story. If they want to represent them doing this, they should be representing them doing this, because everyone is capable. All races are capable of are having multiple facets of good and bad, and they should
Yeah.
all be represented as a story if there's a good story to tell. And I'm like, everyone went, yeah, 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 and
Yeah.
that person immediately shut up. And I bring
Yeah.
this up because I understand that there are some people who find the Filipino character representation here maybe insulting because of the fact there's a lack of Filipinos in the media, as I point out. That being said, why can't we
Yeah.
be represented like this as well?
There's so much to discuss with this because like for the one thing with the good place is that it's understood that all four characters went to the bad place, which spoiler
100%.
alert if you didn't know.
Yeah.
They
This
actually
is
go to
the
the bad place. Yeah. Spoiler alert. This like what's a 7-year-old show? They're actually in the bad place the whole time and they're
right.
redeeming themselves. So I think like it's like understood like these aren't good people.
Hmm.
But, like what does that look like from every like angle of the word, good or bad?
Right.
And then like Chidi is a great representation of like a backdrop in my opinion because he's
Hmm.
also a child of immigrants. He's also of like an immigrant background, and like he's perfect essentially because he even dedicated his whole life to moral philosophy, but he still didn't do the right thing, right?
Hmm.
So it's just like it's not even that like oh these are quintessentially bad people. It's just understood like how you can be different levels of bad. no
Right,
matter
right.
what too. So I understand the whole like it's there's such limited representation, but at the same time it's like but at least we got this representation,
Mhm,
right? It's
mhm.
still like dynamic to what we've been always given because like I said, it's always like we're either the bad guys or we're the
Right,
undesirable. So
100%.
now we maybe may find we're bad, but we're desirable, and then we're the main character, and we
Mhm.
redeem ourselves to be the good guys by the end of it.
Right,
So
right,
and
right, right.
and like an argument for Jason. Jason's one of like the leading good guys and the smartest
Mhm.
ones. I will always say that like Jason bringing up that he recognized that they were in the bad place from early on, and being so much wiser than most of the other characters expect. His emotional intelligence and like secure masculinity is just something that's so novel for male representation in general in his character. So I feel like there's so many redeeming and good qualities about Jason that like if you focus on the fact that he's like from Florida, it just really limits his character.
Right, 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 right. No, agree. I think that's a good. That's great. You bring that up. His emotional intelligence, because of the fact that
Yes.
the character, um, you know, not the sharpest tool in the shed or the brightest
Yeah.
bulb in the box, but
The expected term of academic and intelligence,
yeah,
right?
but he's. You're right. Emotionally, he's almost always ahead of the game. You
Yes.
know,
Hmm.
not to spoil, not to go jump to the end, but I feel like there is something to be said about Jason being the first one in the finale.
Exactly.
I feel like
Exactly.
there's a lot to say about that in terms of him as a character. The
Yeah.
first one
I
to
also think,
blah, 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 blah,
sorry,
blah.
go ahead.
You know,
Yeah.
you know?
I also think the fact that he's with Janet, the
Yeah.
literal smartest thing ever to exist, says a lot about his intelligence, just
Right.
saying.
100% too. And Janet reciprocates it. She also agrees with it, you know?
Yeah. So Janet is not a girl, not a robot figure who's edgy. It is really hard to describe Janet, but
Mhm,
obviously they represent this non-binary aspect of the human experience as well.
mhm,
So
mhm.
like the representation is great because like they also have Michael, who is basically the quintessential white middle-aged man feeling upwards.
Right.
Eleanor is also the main character, white girl, but she's also so deeply flawed the whole time too,
Mhm, mhm.
which we never really see either because our main characters are usually essentially perfect.
Yeah.
But then, so Janet being someone who can't change and is only changed through reboots, only being able to experience love and emotion through Jason to me spoke profoundly. Which,
Mhm.
like, you know, because like you're telling me that this was a major plot point for no reason. No, this is obviously has a weight of like the emotional intelligence that Jason possesses.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, I think it does great things for Filipino representation just because of
Can't
the depth that Jason possesses.
I 100% agree. And
Yeah.
when we meet the, Pillboy, and we meet
Mhm.
Donkey Doug,
Yeah.
it actually expands on something that is actually not very talked a lot about. That the fact that there's in Jacksonville, I found out fairly recently that Jacksonville has a huge Filipino population.
Oh wow, I didn't know that either.
That's
Actually,
part of the reason why they're from Jacksonville.
no way. Oh, that actually makes so much sense. Listen,
um,
I didn't know that Blake Bortles was a real person until like much later from the show. So like, you live and you learn. Just saying.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
But no, seeing the wide spectrum of these kind of of Filipino characters like them in like a show like this is still greatly impactful. The last time I kind of felt something similar to that was watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend,
Yeah.
Josh Chan, which FYI, I want to point something
Yeah.
out.
I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead. It's important. It's important.
So very clearly, as you pointed out earlier, a lot of times the people who are playing people of color may not always be playing their actual ethnicity. So,
Hmm.
Victor Rodriguez, I think, who plays, or Vincent Rodriguez, who plays,
Vincent. Yeah.
yeah, who plays Josh, clearly was cast to play the handsome Asian guy that she was interested in.
Mhm.
And Chan is his last name. And look, great, they went for a sexy Asian guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But as soon as they said, "Oh, and he's Filipino," I went, "All right." So I'm going to point something out real quick. I know zero Filipino Chans. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's not impossible. I'm sure there is. There are plenty of I have Filipino with a little mixed Chinese in my family line, in my bloodline, because
Uh-huh.
my grandma was half Chinese. So it's
Hmm.
not impossible. But but that character was clearly not was not written
Yeah.
to be Filipino. And once the show got picked up to be full season, they're like, "Oh, just make him Filipino," which I
Yeah.
love and I appreciate that because that meant
Mhm.
you did one of the best representations of Filipinos I've ever seen, especially when they did the Thanksgiving episode. That's season 1, where I'm
Yeah, that
like,
Thanksgiving episode was really, they really tried. And like,
oh,
I think we've had, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead. No, no, no.
We've had this discussion before that like casting may not always be perfect
Mm-hmm.
because like maybe it's like limited, there's limited roles, so there's probably gonna be a limited like people that go out for it essentially. So at
Yeah.
least as long as they're trying to write those characters, so like I'll let it go with casting. But it's like stuff like okay, their name
Mm-hmm.
could have been a little like, and I know you've mentioned this before that the whole Filipino heritage and background of their names has a lot to do with like their history and like the colonization of it. So like not knowing that feels so like the hindsight of it, which is like okay, if you're gonna do Filipino representation, don't erase part of the history and the process of it,
Right.
which is fine. And I get that too, because as someone who has their own history with colonization when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to my representation, it is something that gets to me. But it's like, okay, in Western media with limited
Right.
roles and spaces, we'll take what we get. But
100%.
that Thanksgiving episode really tried. Like they
Oh yeah.
really wanted to go in there for it. And I do appreciate because that is great Filipino representation. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend gave
100%.
great Filipino representation for sure.
The Thanksgiving episode, I actually actively I actually remember like after watching it, I actually tagged Rachel.
Oh yeah?
What's the last name?
Bloom.
Bloom. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Tagged Rachel Bloom on Twitter and was like, that's the most accurate representation I've ever seen of a Filipino party in
Wow.
ever, because you guys nailed it. All the details were correct. I'm like, yeah, we would. How did you know? Like, you clearly had Filipinos in the staff, because like
Yeah,
there's a bit where they're all eating dinner on paper plates in a
yeah,
shared no table
yeah,
over a coffee table, and I'm like, correct. We don't do Filipinos don't do like the Thanksgiving thing where we're all eating at a table. We get our paper plates, go to the buffet, then find a spot.
yeah.
And I'm like, how did you? That's
How
amazing.
did you know? Yeah.
How did you
And
know it?
that's like the big testament that we always say too, that like representation starts with the production of it, with the writing of it. So
Right, right,
clearly
right.
we can tell that someone in the writing staff was Filipino.
And she
Um,
did respond to me going like, "Thank you. We were actually very proud of that." So,
Good. Yeah.
but,
Um,
yeah, no. But going back to
yeah.
Good Place,
Yeah, the Bachelor
again,
in Good Place. I feel like the Good Place, what it does with representation is that they try to represent us without necessarily needing it to be like a symbolization of the life we've lived, essentially,
yeah,
you know? Because
yeah,
of course we love to hear our stories from the stories and the trauma that we want it to be shown, of course.
of
But
course,
we also just want to exist in these spaces and we also want to see where we can go. And I feel like the Good Place showed where we could go. I
100%.
didn't know like in comparison to like Jason's characterization, Tahani's not great. She's probably considered
Right.
one of the most hated characters. And I'll be honest with you, I really hated Tahani for the longest time too.
Fair,
But
yeah.
like as a Pakistani woman, I'm just like, but you know, she's me. So I gotta like find something to find redeemable.
Hmm,
And
hmm.
like, though I don't agree with her choices, I do like respect the background that they showed of her being like alienated from her sister because of how her mother and father pegged each other against each other, and how her need of validation because she never got it from her family caused her to be as vapid and shallow and like superficial as she was.
Hmm,
It's not great, but it's unfortunately accurate,
hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
because
fair.
we don't get that validation from our parents. I will tell you that. So I can't blame her for it. Like
Right.
I started a podcast. You name drop Elon Musk. We are who we are. Like,
um, I'm
yeah,
gonna. I know we're gonna go more into the episode, but I want to
yeah,
say, because of the current times we live in, when Tahani mentioned that name drop, and that's her character, right? Like, I name drop
mhm,
everybody, but
yeah.
when she mentioned that name drop, I forgot very briefly the joke where she goes like, "Oh my god, why was I friends with that creep?" And I was like, "God."
A testament to like how funny and how relevant the show stays is that every Tahani's name drop still stays relevant and
Right.
ages perfectly.
Mm.
I have not heard a single name drop that didn't age well. My favorite is Ben Affleck's obsession with Matt Damon, or like Matt Damon's obsession with his good friend Ben Affleck. Like I just think that that one aged so well. Like Tony, I'm gonna go put that man. Like just Another good one is like even like James Franco's mentioned. She just everybody that she's mentioned, just like it really shows how well they know people, and
Yeah.
enough that they could make jokes even about celebrities in a way
Mhm.
that like was a deep cut that like would always feel right to them.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Right. So before we get into the episode, because now we've already talked about a lot of it,
Mhm.
is there anything else that you like to mention about the show or like the representation when it comes to the Good Place?
At the end of the day, it's like the representation is to me it's your responsibility as a storyteller that if you have a story that can kind of use multiple experiences as the good place does have, then it should be allowing you the chance to explore other kinds of cultures and people if your story tells that, right? Like, look, I
Mhm.
get it. If your story takes place on a German submarine during World War II, kind of limited on representation. I'm not asking for a lot of
Fair, valid.
no. But if your story is, as Michael Schur's other shows have been, government office, corporate world,
Mhm.
the police, and here the exploration of the good and bad in life and death.
But the simple things in life, right?
The very simple core storytelling.
Yeah,
Uh,
the big three:
big three,
government, cops, and existential dread.
the huge. Then yeah, you that means you need to explore other people's, you have to explore other people's culture and how they reflect in your story. And so I love the fact that he went, okay, great, let's have a Pakistani character, let's have a Filipino character, and then we can build off of there. And I think I double checked, Chidi is, I think, French Nigerian.
Yeah, he's saying Senegalese, so he's
Senegalese. Okay.
yeah. That's what I was like, because I know he's in like Nigeria, but I'm like I don't think his background is. So I don't want to talk
Mm,
about he's like Senegalese.
yeah.
I really feel so bad because this is a plot point for Eleanor always forgetting where he's from. Senegal, Senegal. Like she's uh, I forget what she says, but she like I remember she calls him Ariana Grande at one point. And I'm just like I am pulling in Eleanor Shellstrop. I am no better than an Arizona trash bag right
um,
now. Oops.
but but yeah, no, like it's your responsibility. And so like
Exactly.
the fact that the show had all these ideas and go, great, let's find room for characters of all kinds to find grow from this, bond with this, and do it in a fun way. And that's like I almost feel like anytime I see people, like one of my kind of pet peeves is I'm sort of tired of looking at medical dramas and go,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
who you
Valid.
know
Valid. Sorry, I made that face because it's a very it's a deep niche cut for me. I have a lot
also
of
you
feelings about those.
and also I think you kind of already know where I'm going with this.
I do know exactly. You've been watching the show The Pit by any
No,
chance?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, yeah, reserve. But
But
no, I get that.
I
Mhm.
know like St. Dennis is the current kind of like
Ah, yes.
comedy
Historically
show.
then, yes, yeah.
And actually, funny enough, one of my best friends, he actually showed up in one episode as
Oh yeah,
a.
because there was Filipino representation in St. Dennis. I just
See,
totally remember that now. Yes,
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 see, no, that's great. I just wished one
yeah,
of them was the lead. I wish one of them was one of the lead
yeah.
characters.
So, and it's the same character that was Filipino in Superstore, right? I believe?
Yes, yeah, he
Yes,
showed
yes,
up,
it's come.
and there's a
Mhm.
whole. I saw the whole bit. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
but
That
I
episode's very good. That episode's very good for St. Dennis. Yeah.
but I also do feel like, but why aren't there more Filipino nurses characters who are leads? There's so many, especially if your shows in Southern. Look in general, but that's the thing. We're getting there. We're slowly
Yeah.
getting there. And and that's an obvious one for me. Like the
Yeah.
great thing about the Good Place is that's not the most obvious place to find
Yes.
Filipino representation or Pakistani representation.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think it stands out as much as it does.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
my favorite thing is like I always say this too about like other shows that gave me great representation was that I wasn't asking for it here. And
Yeah.
for you to do it the way you did it, really means a lot to me. Like obviously I can say this about Miss Marvel and the like superhero universe, but another time it stood out to me was in the show called Midnight Mass by Michael Flanagan,
Yeah.
which is a
Yeah.
horror show,
Hmm.
which I don't expect horror to go deep into representation, but whenever horror does, and it does it quite often, it's very like I don't know, it's so like reaffirming.
Mhm.
So it's great whenever it's in a sitcom. It's great whenever it's in like a show that's so popular, like a medical drama that could be seen on network TV. But whenever it's like these deep cut shows that are like going for something specific, like a 4 season show about like redeeming yourself, but they're like, let's do representation too. It's like, wow, they could do the effort. Why can't the rest of you?
Why can't the rest of you? There
Exactly.
we are. I
Because
agree.
the Good Place didn't have a lot of time to work with, but
No.
they still managed to do it well. And
Yeah.
that's saying a lot.
Hmm. Agreed.
Mhm.
Agreed. I love
Completely
Midnight
agree with that.
Mass. I just want to put that. I love Midnight Mass.
Yeah,
Um,
Midnight Mass. Oh, we will definitely do an episode about that. Don't worry, it's on my list. I have to discuss that show very well. All
excellent.
right, so all right, this is a perfect segue into the second part of this episode, which is we are going to recap an episode of The Good Place in order to get really into the themes and the representation of every episode. It just is the best way to really talk about it. So naturally, we picked the episode, "The Ballad of Donkey Doug." It is a season 3, episode 5 episode. A quick like synopsis of what's been happening. This is season 3. This is when the 4 humans are rebooted to prove that they're worthy of the good place. However, this trial falls apart very quickly because of Janet and Michael's interference. They reveal the truth to Eleanor, Tahani, Chidi, and Jason. The episode right before this is the Jeremy Bearimy episode,
Yeah.
where they collectively have a very bad crash out, and then finally decide like we will help people. And then this episode will begin with them redeeming the people they love.
Mhm.
Before we get into it, what are your feelings about season 3? Because, like we said, like every season is so different. How do you feel about season 3 and this storyline?
I was really excited about season 3. Especially like I kind of love the idea of like how do you find ways to get everyone back together again and make it fresh,
Mhm. Yeah,
and here the idea is like, oh, we rebooted everything, but we have to basically get the band back together
yeah.
to to get back on track, which is I thought this was such a really fun way of doing it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
For
Mm.
me, it escalated things so quickly, and it really showed me the
Mhm.
scope that the Good Place was going for. I
Yeah.
think we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but like that one season 1 reveal of like them being in the bad place after they spent all of season 1 pretending to be in the good place, and then for them to start season 2 immediately with them being like, no, they know it's the bad place, and then
Mhm.
escalating that, and then them being like, okay, we're now alive again, and now we're back on Earth. It just really showed like the gravity of the messaging they're trying to say, that like this is not just this like scenario of like, would they, if they were in this little small town that's supposed to be heaven, what if they knew, what if they went back? So
Mhm.
I just like really love their interactions in at Earth, because it really just shows like the scope and gravity of like what they're trying to like kind of beat over our heads essentially.
It's amazing because it's like it's a show that feels like a quest series.
Yeah, that's a good
Like
way to explain it.
right, it's like it feels like kind of like like a weird D&D campaign,
Yeah,
except
yeah,
it's
yeah.
except it's about morality and making good choices, and
Except,
but you still get like the occasional demon and troll. So it's
yeah,
like that's why it's that amazing mix of fantasy, big ideas, small ideas type stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, sure.
yeah. No, because there are demons, by the way.
There are demons.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are aware.
I mean, it is heaven and hell, so there are demons.
There are demons. Yeah.
Quick shout out, because I didn't get a chance to talk about this, with the whole Michael being the quintessential white guy feeling upwards,
Mhm.
and his comparison of Vicky, who is obviously also meant to be like a South Asian character, and how
Yeah.
she's actually like the brains at one point, but like
Mhm.
Michael gets the credit for it. Great, like again, these nuances that they somehow added throughout the show.
Right, right, right.
But this episode in particular, it starts out with Eleanor talking to Janet about the people that hated her in high school. Um, Eleanor is played by Kristen Bell. Darcy Carden plays Janet. They're both in Australia, with Chidi played by William Jackson Harper. Meanwhile, Tahani, Michael, and Jason are on their way to Florida to redeem Donkey Doug, which is revealed to be Jason's dad. And we have to sit and talk about that for a moment.
Where do you want to
So
start?
basically, Donkey Doug is a mainstay of Jason's storyline. So
Right,
we have
right.
heard this character, but the reveal that he, like, I would say that this is a huge spoiler. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
he
yeah,
is
yeah.
his dad is absolutely one of the most hilarious things, and like genius plot twist in my opinion.
Donkey Doug, I have to say, Donkey Doug, first off, an amazing name that
Impeccable.
impeccable name that only asks more questions. When
Exactly.
you have a
The
guy
man, the myth, the legend for sure.
when you hear a guy tell multiple stories of, oh yeah, me and Donkey Doug, and eventually went, I'm sorry, who's Donkey Doug? Like what's
My favorite is no one
exactly?
asked him. My favorite is no one asked him. This is 3 seasons.
That's true.
Jason has
That's
told stories nonstop. No one has
yeah.
been like, "Hey, who's Donkey Doug?" By the way,
Yeah, is he a friend of yours? Like, is he who? Like, we know Pillboy. That's
yeah,
another
because
weird
we've seen
name.
Pillboy and
We've
like
seen
recap.
Pillboy.
We've yet to see. This is essentially the reveal of Donkey
Uh
Doug,
huh.
played by Mitch Narito, and who is a good friend of yours, which
Mm,
we'll get into. But
yeah,
like, yeah, like it's the reveal is amazing.
so good.
Uh,
It's like it's also so Jason.
yeah,
Like, it's like, no, the reaction from Tahani is like, I'm sorry. Wait, wait. Your father is Donkey Dog.
My favorite, hers like she starts naming the stories, and she's like,
Yeah.
"The Donkey Dog that's been banned from Disneyland from finding Buzz Lightyear," and Jason goes, "To be fair, he thought it was someone else," and she goes, "Who?"
Oh my
Uh,
gosh, it's so good.
it-
Oh, I completely forgot about the monster truck taxi.
yeah,
Yeah,
I would say another noteworthy moment is the fact that Hummers are taxis.
yeah, Murder taxi is just like big old.
Him
Also,
yelling Duval as soon as he enters Florida. Uh,
it's also amazing that Michael is like kind of like he sort of already knew. That's the vibe Michael gives, and he's just waiting for like Tahani to be like,
yeah,
"Now you're caught up."
yeah, yeah. Now that you've caught up.
Yeah, you're caught up.
So
Oh my
the
god.
next scene is us actually meeting Donkey Doug,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I have
yeah.
to say this is the best introduction and dialogue of a character I think I've ever watched in my life. Um, Knowing Mitch, how do you watch this episode without being like, "Oh my god"? I
So
don't know if he's anything like his character, but like he's amazing. It's like the comedic timing is impeccable.
I will have to do this because I have to explain how I met Mitch.
Yes, please do. Please, let's get into it. Also, if
Yeah.
you didn't know, Justin knows Mitch personally. Also, hi, Mitch, if you watch this
Yeah,
episode.
Mitch.
Big fan, shout out.
Mitch, what up, dude?
Yeah.
Let me know what you think of this when you hear it. So, how I met Mitch was okay. So, funny enough, I actually didn't finish the show yet. So,
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, I haven't started season 3 when I started hanging out with him. So,
Oh,
what
oh my
happened
gosh, so you knew him before you knew Donkey Doug.
before I knew Donkey Doug? Correct.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
it was 2021. Comic Con was, of course, clearly shut off in the year
Mhm.
before, obviously COVID.
Yeah.
So in 2021, Comic Con did kind of a baby version of Comic Con, very small, still at the San Diego Convention Center.
Mhm.
Um, didn't have everything, but it had like a decent, it's still a decent amount of stuff there. It was a way to kind of still put out an event that it could, generate some income from,
Mhm.
especially because they had to close everything the year before.
Yeah.
So it was me, my good buddy Earl. Earl Balon actually is a working actor. He voices Jonah from the Tomb Raider video
Okay.
game and the current Tomb Raider anime. Also, he actually had a guest appearance on St. Dennis
Oh,
uh,
no way.
a while
Okay.
back. It's one scene, but it's very funny.
Yeah.
My buddy Jimmy and Earl brought Mitch. He had basically was like, "Hey, my buddy Mitch wants to come." I'm like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
sure." And he was
Yeah.
gonna stay. He was gonna room with us, and I met Mitch that weekend. We hung out the whole weekend. Me and him got along really well. Great, laid back dude, really funny. Um, Basically a responsible version of Donkey Dog.
Okay, okay. I was wondering, like, how was the comparison? Okay.
It's like take Donkey Dog and then chill it out to a more realistic but fun human being. And
Okay. Realistic human beings, very practical. It makes
yeah,
sense.
very great guy, love the dude. And after that weekend, and I was like, man, like that guy's great. I'm just gonna jump to his episode.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh my
backtrack the
gosh.
rest.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll just jump to his episode because I hung out
Sure.
with the dude for literally 3 days. We
Yeah.
even got like late night like tacos to bring back to the hotel room, and that's how we kind of bonded together even more. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this guy's great. So
Yeah.
I went to go watch The Ballad of Donkey Doug. I didn't watch anything else of season 3 yet. I'm just gonna go this episode. I called Earl the day after, and I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, dude, I just watched Mitch's episode of the show. He's like, oh, cool. What'd you think? I am extremely glad I didn't do that before we hung out
Yeah.
because I would have wanted nothing more than to talk to him about the episode.
No, I always wondered about that because I was just like, if I were to have met Donkey Doug, I don't know because he's so convincing in that character that I would just be like, that's Donkey Doug. Like I'm just expecting him to
I,
pitch me Double Trouble.
I'm gonna pitch you. I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite stories.
Okay,
It's so
please do. Yeah,
my best friend Nathan, when he met Donkey Doug, Mitch, he
yeah.
met him the following convention that following year,
Okay, yeah.
and uh, we met him on the convention floor with Mitch and his wife Barbara, and Nate went, "Hi, Mitch, pleasure to really meet you." He's like, "Hey, I heard a lot of great things about you, man." It's like, now, um, I'm gonna want to do something right now,
Oh gosh. Okay.
and I'm gonna do it just to get it out of my system. I will never do this to you ever again. But if you could allow me to do this one time, I will never talk about this to you ever again. Is that okay? And Mitch goes, "You may proceed, sir." All right, thank you very much. Donkey dog! He yelled it so loud at the convention floor, you could feel it reverberate.
Vibrating.
And then Nate was like, "All right, I'm good.
He had that in him the whole time. He's like, I need to do this. I must
I
do this.
have to do this, and I will
What
never
was
let him
Mitch's
do."
reaction?
He took it and went, "Wow,
Yeah,
thank you." He still talks about it to this day. He's like, "Remember when Nate just yelled Donkey Dung at the convention floor?"
yeah. The thing is, like, Mitch is probably like I can imagine him in so many great roles in the future because he clearly has like the chops for it acting
Yeah,
wise. But like
yeah.
this character is iconic for him. Like,
I don't think he has any problem being
yeah,
known.
yeah.
Actually, no, I'll take that for a fact. I'll show you for a fact. He has no problem being known as Donkey Dog at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Every time we've been to, especially last Comic Con,
Mhm.
this guaranteed happened every time I walked with him.
Okay.
Someone will stop him and go, "Are you Donkey Doug? Or are you the guy who played Donkey Doug?"
Yeah.
And then he would very politely go, "Yep, that's me." Second question immediate is, "When are you going to be in Star Wars?" Because
To be fair, they need to finish the trifecta because as of right now, Pillboy and Manny Jacinto are both in Star Wars. So
100%,
yeah.
100%, and Mitch is very much like, I don't care where they put me. I could be on a video game. I could be a voice in a ride. I
Yeah.
don't care.
The
What?
possibility when it comes to Star Wars are actually endless.
Mm-hmm.
I think what amazes me about this is that Donkey Doug is in like 2 episodes.
Right?
He's not even in the show that much.
People think he's in the show so much, but the reality
But
is he's only
and that's
really.
how iconic it is. And that's I'm really happy we talked about this episode. I knew we would.
Yeah,
But I'm just like, this episode, it really just is like, it really shows like when you write a character well,
yeah,
they are completely rememberable.
yeah.
Because Donkey Doug is easily one of the most memorable characters of the show.
And,
And he's
and
in this one episode.
and Mitch is so perfect for it that
100%.
like it's hard to not quote him.
Yeah.
It's hard to not think you can both
Oh, we
win.
will be. Trust me, we will be. I literally just wrote quotes at one point. I'm just like, this is quote, 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 quote,
Yeah,
quote.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very hard,
Yeah.
and the fact of the matter that like again, Mitch is such a great guy in general that like
Mhm.
he's very easy to kind of see him and do very easy to connect with him. You know, that's part of the
Yeah.
reason why I do feel like it's part of the reason why people respond to Donkey Doug is that like also there's a likability to Donkey
Yeah. Yeah.
Doug.
Um, yeah. Like, so at the introduction to Donkey Dog, we have him have like this. He's not like my son, but he is my son. And yet I feel like he
He's
just
my
has these
boy, but he's not.
lines.
But he's my boy. You know?
Um, after which he accuses Michael of being a cop and then hits onto Honey. Like the most diabolical way to introduce a character, yet so endearing and charming.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, you know what? The moment he's like going like, "Hey man, do you want us to get? Hey, you want to go to the hot tub and then like we can do stuff with each other? I'm married to your son. Oh, Dip, you really love him. No one's ever told me
That line works on everyone.
which I'm like, really?
I love how Jason's just there. Like, I
Right.
think there's also just like a testament to both of their chemistry and them working so well together. It's that they feed off each other so well.
So
close
well.
after this, Pillboy is introduced, which them three together is amazing.
Oh my god.
Um,
Oh dip, it's oh dip. Hey doggy dog. Oh
Oh
dip.
dip, Jason, oh dip,
Oh
Pillboy, oh dip,
dip.
Donkey Dog. My favorite line is, Jason, I thought you were dead. Jason, I was in Australia. I talked to you with you on the phone last week. He's like, oh yeah, but I forgot. End of conversation. Um,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
they would be great in Star Wars, but if they just would decide to be like in comedies for the rest of their lives, I would be loved because
I
like they have such good comedic timing. They're hilarious, all
I
three of them.
I would love nothing more to work with all three. I've worked with Mitch
Yeah,
twice so far as a director.
okay. Amazing.
And Mitch is great. He's if I could just kind of shout out the professionalism
Of course, always.
and the real talent Mitch has. He's not only delivers on camera,
Mhm,
and has great ideas, but the dude has such experience on set that like he understands like roles can be flipped to help just get the project going. So
mhm,
one of my big projects I did with him is a short film I did in September, and he's only in it for like the second half of a 3 minute short, but he
mhm,
came in, had no, he came in on time, had plenty of great questions and ideas, and then he kind of he wasn't really needed for a couple hours, but no one told him to do this, but he just started helping out on set. It's like, hey, I'll move that. Oh, do you need that moved? I'll take care of that. Oh, you want me to hold that? I can hold that here. Oh, you want me to slate for you guys? I can do that really quick. And I'm like, Mitch, I didn't tell you. You could have just chilled and drank coffee. But no, he
That's
loves being on set.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
It
loves
just
being
shows that, like, it's a good energy. You can tell that he has great energy, and whenever you hear, like, someone like that is also that talented, you just want the best for them.
on 100%.
So I want him in Star Wars as well. We
Yeah,
need a campaign for him in Star
we need
Wars.
Mitch to return Star Wars. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Yep.
I don't care how,
Um,
but
it will happen. It has to happen. There's so much
yeah.
more Star Wars projects happening.
I go,
We
no.
need to keep all three of them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mm.
So as the episode goes, meanwhile, we have Janet Eleanor trying to help Chidi break up with his girlfriend at the time, Simone, who's played by Kirby Howell Baptiste, who
Hmm. Amazing
great
addition.
addition to the
Yeah. Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Janet creates a simulation of sorts that like helps Chidi run practice scenarios of breaking up, and
Mhm.
to no surprise, Chidi is very bad at this. There's this little montage of all the way he's trying to break up with her. He even pretends to be in the CIA. He acts like he's dying. He brings a puppy at one point, and then even tries proposing.
The great
So
thing about the proposing one is just him. Everyone's cheering and congratulating. He's like, wait, why did I do that?
again, again, a testament to William Jackson Harper's comedic timing because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Chidi is a character that could be very vexing, but he just
Mhm.
delivers it in such a like comedic way that you just can't help but laugh at how he handles it. And this episode, in my opinion, it's not that much of a fun storyline for him, but it really shows his character very well.
Yeah.
Um,
I think you're totally right about that because it's like there are times, and I think it works that you are very frustrated with Cheaty, but
yeah,
that is part of his problem. Is that
yeah,
you're like Cheaty, stop.
yeah,
You gotta you gotta stop doing what you're doing. It's literally ruining you. And
yeah.
that's kind of the beauty of the show is like everyone else. When you see Cheaty grow
Hmm.
and learn to kind of stop doing his terrible uh I wouldn't say attitude, but like more like the stuff that he's just used to
What
do.
compels him, like his instincts, essentially. You
Yes,
know.
yeah, yeah. It's that's the beauty of seeing like long form storytelling. Is that like, oh,
Hmm.
he can start off here, but then eventually by the time we get to the end, he's on the other side of this. And
And this is why shows need more than 2 seasons.
this is what show needs more 2 seasons.
We
Yeah.
should stop canceling them after season one
And
and not limit their series. Yeah.
you know, back in my day, they used to like let the show
When
breathe.
I was growing up.
When I was growing up, Seinfeld didn't find itself until season 3. You know?
Yep. 30 Rock wasn't good until season 2.
30 Rock wasn't good until season 2.
The
Parks and
Office was
Rec
bad.
season 2.
Parks and Rec was bad
Parks and
until
Rec
season
season 1,
3.
I never rewatch.
Wait. Well, let's be honest. The last episode of season 2 is when they finally started cooking in Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. Yes, You know
Mhm.
what's funny? Like I was like dismissed of the show for a while.
Yeah.
Then the
Mhm.
middle of season 2, I was starting to decide like, oh, maybe I watch it again, and like, oh, it's a little better. Then by the time I get to the end of season 2, I went, actually, that's pretty good.
It took like 20 episodes for them to find the footage.
But that's how we used to do it.
Because we got the chance to grow.
We
We
got the
let
chance.
shows cook.
We did 100%.
Honorable mention of this montage is when Eleanor pretends to be Chidi and try to break up with Simone and ends
So
up just
good.
flirting with Simone and tries to kiss her. Shout out.
What? That's so good. Also, I go back to like to Janet's thing about like, why is it every time a new like innovative invention happens, humans just want to turn it into some way for porn, and
Yeah.
Eleanor's like, because we're disgusting.
Um, yep. They just get us. The show just is human. Like when I tell you the show is human, it is human to a T.
Yeah.
Um, Shout out to Janet then using it to imagine Jason in a steam room in a strongman onesie.
That's a
I
weird
get it, girl.
glitch. That's just a weird glitch.
Yes. Ignore that.
Ignore that.
We get it, not a girl. We get
We
it.
understand. We understand.
All right.
Also,
Yeah.
when Eleanor jumps in to pretend to be Simone,
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's a good one.
where Simone's actress gets to pretend to be Eleanor, it's so good.
So we're not discussing this episode, but another great part about this series is how these actors are so good. Another thing is like Kristen Bell and Ted Danson are obviously veteran actors, but
Yeah.
everyone else is a newcomer, right?
Right,
Literally,
right.
first time I've seen any of these other actors, but their acting is so. Maybe it's their chemistry and the fact that they worked with each other, but I think it speaks on their talent and range that they can emulate each other. Like the
Yeah.
episode where Darcy Carden is literally playing every character is Emmy. Like it should have won an award
She
by
should have.
itself. Still very like I will always be bitter that they didn't. But like there's a time where I believe like Eleanor pretends to be Jason, and then like Simone pretends to be Eleanor. Like Eleanor pretends to be Simone. Like it's just like they're back and forth and able to like mimic each other. Just shows how well they know the characters and how well their acting range is that they can mimic each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, agreed. And it's no, the show can like give everybody such a great showcase for
yeah,
various kinds of levels of their performances, from big to small to dramatic to
Mhm.
very funny. Like, here's the thing about going back to Manny Jacinto. Like Manny gets to mostly play the most broadest
yeah,
of the four, right? Like, he's the one who has like a kind of a character voice. He's the one that has
yeah.
like his own like, mannerisms.
Uh-huh.
And that are very extreme. You know, he's always kind of like, but he gets to have those real moments, especially going back to this episode where he's trying to figure out like how to save his dad. And
Yeah.
that goes into the whole like the awful, terrible, absolutely disgusting idea that his dad was and Pillboy were pitching, which is double trouble.
Yeah, so that's the next scene, actually. I have to say this is the best pitch I've ever heard. Mostly because when Michael goes, "Do you spray it or do you drink it?" and Pillboy goes, "You both it." When you know your product.
Also, I love that immediately they think they're in Shark Tank.
Okay, so I think this is hands down the funniest moment of this episode because you both it the constant use of the word sharks, the other sharks. What have you?
We gotta hurry up and bid on this before the other sharks realize it. Jason.
This is also whenever Jason's telling his dad that he should become an electrician. He's like, it's good, honest work. And then Donkey Doug goes, good, honest work, whatever, Dad. And Tahani goes, again, you're his dad. And this is when the Elon Musk story comes out too. Which is like the good friend. So basically Tahani, Jason, and Michael decide to support them. And Tahani goes, just like my good friend Elon Musk supported Crazy Notions, and then he shot his car up into the moon. Why was I ever friends with that guy? It's the most relevant thing. This just shows how the show stays relevant.
Right. Exactly. It's also it's also one of those things where this kind of Michael leads into the idea that like I hate to say this, but your father might be a lost cause.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and like because like there was clearly they also have this the awful also the realization that Double Trouble is just energy drink mixed
I mean, there's clearly a need in Florida for that.
right. And clearly, like a vast quantity to go hit
Yeah.
multiple warehouses in
Yeah.
Florida, but that disgusting realization of oh, so it is both like you're expect ew
Yeah.
there are chemicals in body spray that should not go in the body. Oh my god!
I don't think too deeply about it because if you ever did sit and actually think about it, it would just be like the most confusing, disgusting thing ever. Um, at this point, I really love that they try to be supportive until Donkey Dog is like, "We're gonna rob two factories," and then Jason's like, "If it was no three factories," and
Yeah,
Jason's like, "If
yeah,
it was two, maybe." And then he goes along with what Michael says of like maybe your father's irredeemable, which is a little heartbreaking because it's like you
mhm.
don't want to hear that anyone is irredeemable, especially in the good place.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
the idea is they're trying to save the people they still can,
Right.
so that's why they pick Pillboy.
Mhm.
And shout out to like Eugene Cordero. We know we talked about Mitch a lot, but like Eugene Bill is one of my favorite characters of the show, and I think
Yeah.
he just stands out very well. He's just hilarious the whole time. He's also of Filipino descent, playing a Filipino character,
Mhm.
and the fact that we get an episode with all three people, all three Filipino actors, in this like very like nuance and like a new look, and this representation is just very great. So
It is, and
yeah,
I guess it should like it should warn folks that they still talk to each other.
that's
Like
amazing. I think it's my favorite thing about them is that
like
they're still friends.
they still talk to each other and they still like communicate with each other. Actually, one of my favorite moments at Comic Con last year is like when the what's Jacinto's character's name in the Acolyte again one more time?
Well, it's Chimere and the Stranger, so it's both.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
the costume for Chimera was up on display at Comic Con,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mitch took a selfie of him with with the costume
Poor
behind him.
guy.
And before he posted it online, he sent it to Manny.
This
and
warms my heart. When I tell you I want to cry.
before he posted it online, he's like, "Hey Manny, I found you." I think is what he said. And then what blew up a little bit is when he posted online. All he wrote was like, "That's my boy."
Adorable. You still his son, son.
It's my son. Yeah. No, I'm your father.
So the next scene is Manny, Jason meeting up with Donkey Dog instead of Pillboy.
Yeah.
Best introduction is Pillboy. He's like, no, it's Pillboy's friend, Jason. Whenever they're about to rob a factory.
What's also
um,
kind of amazing is realize why is he called Pillboy? Oh, quite literally, he hands out pills.
yeah. The fact that he works in a nursing home is so cute.
Right. Also, I guess that just shows that's some mild character like work there because it shows that
Yeah,
Pillboy does have a part of him that, that can be redeemed
exactly.
and can
Mm-hmm.
be saved because of the way he helps people, maybe
Mm-hmm.
unethically to in terms of how he's handing out pills, but he's
Yeah,
still trying to help the people at the home. And there is a little hope for Pillboy left,
yeah.
so that's why the change to
I
Pillboy.
in comparison to everyone else's like person that they wanted to go help, because like we have Eleanor trying to help her mother essentially.
Hmm.
Tahani picks her sister again. Initially Jason picks Donkey Dog as his father, but then like recognizes that like okay, Donkey Dog might just be too set in his ways, which
Hmm.
honestly that is a true testament to caregivers and like
Yeah,
parental units. But like we see that Pillboy has this chance, so that's another reason why he stands out to me, is because of all the characters, like the good and because like Eleanor has friends, but we never really get into Eleanor's friends or like Chidi's like friends even. But like we do get into Jason's friends, and
yeah,
we
yeah,
showed that like I really also think it shows that Jason wasn't inherently bad. He was
yeah,
like a product of his circumstances too, unfortunately,
yeah,
because he did meet people that care like that actually generally had a good soul in the process.
yeah. And
Them
I think
having to do what they had to.
what is a good testament to the fact at the end of the day that with Donkey Dog that there is some form of redeemability a little bit with him, right?
Mhm.
So when Jason decides I'm going to help out Donkey Doug my dad,
Yeah.
rob these warehouses so that
Yeah.
Pillboy just doesn't go.
Yeah. It's
Um,
saved essentially.
he is saved
Mhm.
essentially. That Donkey Doug acknowledges that his son's trying to do something good.
Yeah. And he does
Yeah.
it in the most hilarious way possible because he says, "Oh, you got religious and shit? Amen."
but once,
See,
but when
the
he
fact
realized,
that the show can do such emotional beats in such a hilarious way
right,
is what makes it a gift, in my
and
opinion.
it kind of goes to the most quotable line for me is after he realizes like his son's trying to help him
Yeah.
and trying to help Pillboy when the cops do show up and they said they were cops, so he has to do what they say.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's like, I knew it.
um, that Donkey Doug is like, hey, look, I'm probably not like one of the greatest dads, definitely
Favorite line of that he's ever said. Favorite
top,
line.
like not even the top 5, but I can do this for you. I can take the hit, and you run off, and
Yeah.
that's what my dad did, and that's what I hope you get to do. Which Jason's like, I
He was,
hope
I
not,
hope not.
but he's still acknowledging that. All
Yeah.
right, this is the most fatherly thing I can do because
Mhm.
that's all I'm capable of.
Yeah. It's ultimately like it's a hilarious moment, like a hilarious dialogue, but it ultimately leads to this very sweet resolution to their
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
Even when he goes like, "You can call me Donkey Dad."
I love
Nah,
this.
that sounds whack. They're
I'm
so
talking
moments, like they're so
Doug.
trying.
I think of the
Um,
delivery of, nah, that's whack. Call me Donkey Doug. A lot.
Amazing. My other favorite is whenever he yells Bortles, whenever the cops finally arrest him.
Oh,
Cementing one of the most iconic characters in our sitcom history, I'm telling you.
for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, so this is just the like that is just Donkey Doug's arc, by the way.
Mhm, mhm.
And I just like I think we've talked about like how Donkey Doug is one of our favorite, he stands out. But like the significance of Donkey Doug to Jason's arc, everything, and the impact of the series, like how do you feel about it? Again, as Filipino representation, but also as your friend. Like this is it that we get for Donkey Doug. But how do
Right.
you feel like what do you feel with that? Like that this was it?
I feel like you kind of said, like there is something to be said about the writing of it and Mitch's performance.
Hmm.
That this was how many years ago this episode,
Yeah.
and Mitch in 2024 still gets stopped by Good Place fans in excitement that
Yeah.
wait, that's Donkey Doug,
Yeah.
and the
Uh,
fact that like it's still like you're kind of correct. You're super correct. I forget it's really only 2 episodes. 2 episodes is being generous. It's
yeah. No, because like he's barely I think he's in one scene in the final episode.
one scene
Yeah.
exactly, but like he's really not in the show a lot. But
Mm-mm.
he leaves such a impact that I feel like in terms of representation, again, like it's one of those cases where like it's just a great character
Yeah.
who happens to be played by a Filipino who happens to
Mhm.
be Filipino.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's kind of what I want more of is characters who just are played by great Filipino actors who are really working hard in the industry to be, exactly what they should be for the Hollywood industry, like um and be the right kind of performer they can be in front of the camera, and they just happen to be Filipino, you
Yeah.
know.
It shows that like this is a great example of how representation doesn't have to be forced
Yeah,
and
it
it doesn't
doesn't
have
have
to
to
go
be
out of its
forced.
way. And
Yeah.
it does fit. It's just this simple.
Like, could Jason and Donkey Doug and Pillboy have been like not Filipino characters? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they would have just been as funny, as
Mhm.
memorable if you found the right actors and the writing
Yeah.
remained basically the same. But
Because nothing about them was inherently Filipino in the dialogue.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not like Donkey Doug like gave him a plate of lumpia, you know? I
Well, they were like, yeah, yeah.
don't even think he would know how to make anything, let alone,
He
you
doesn't
know.
really strike me as the cooking type.
He
So,
not particularly. No, I
yeah.
but but the fact that we had one episode where Jason points out he's Filipino, that meant that then Pillboy's Filipino, his dad's Filipino. I kind of remember going. What was it? The actress who was She was in She-Hulk. She played She-Hulk's friend. She's a Filipino actor,
Oh,
and
I can't
I
remember
think
her name.
Ginger something.
Yeah.
And she was the lead in the True Lies TV show,
Okay. Yeah.
and she played the wife, the main,
Yeah.
basically the main character,
Uh-huh.
Jamie Lee's character in the original movie.
Okay.
And
Good.
one of the things I thought was really cool is because she's like she's Filipino. When she
Mhm.
got cast, she realized, oh, because I have two kids in the show, that
Mm.
means we have to find
Yeah.
kids who are half Filipino.
Right. 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 That makes sense. Yeah.
And I'm like, she realized like, oh, that's sort of the cool impact of just casting casting people of color in these
Hmm.
shows, is that like it's not that hard. They go, okay, well, we casted a Filipino American actress. That means her kids have to be
Yeah.
half Filipino as well.
Mhm.
Great, easy. It doesn't have to
Mhm.
be.
And like that's the amount of effort we require. That's it. Like
That's
just a
it.
little bit of forethought.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be much deeper than that.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And
Mhm.
I think that like the fact that like Donkey Doug is such a wild, funny, memorable character who just
Mhm.
happens to be a Filipino character because he's played by a Filipino actor, and we established that his son is a Filipino character. That's it. That is
Yeah.
that. In terms of people who complain about like, well, forced representations, like, it's just people who are in this country.
Yeah. It's
That's
like we
it.
already existed. We
Yeah,
just we're already taking space. Like just put us in, like just
just
let
show
us
that
in
we're
that space
here.
too.
Yeah, yeah. Let us in
Yeah.
that space too. It's like I was born here. You
Yeah.
know, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was born in America. I
Yeah.
don't like.
Yeah. It's also like a conversation about our own diaspora of like how we've always
Mhm.
existed. Like we're not just that one type of representation either. Like we don't have to
Yeah.
be super Filipino or Pakistani. Like we are also Pakistani American, Filipino American. Like we have
Mhm.
Florida representation too. The
Yeah.
Florida representation goes wild in this show too. Let's not forget.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And even like I'm Filipino American, but I'm Filipino American from Southern California.
Yeah.
It's different
Yeah.
from my friends who are
That's probably its
Filipino.
own thing.
Yeah, and then I have
Mhm.
friends who are Filipino American who are in Jersey, and
Oh, that's its own thing. Jersey
it's its
representation
own,
is its own thing.
it's its own thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no monolith, but
No, exactly.
we need to show we're here. That's all we're
Yeah.
asking.
Mhm.
It's
And the
not
show
that
was
hard.
so it's the show, like, it ended in 2018, and, like, it
Hmm.
is so many years old, and, like, it did then.
Yeah.
So and without any complaints or problems, so
Hmm.
and it
Hmm.
still holds true, like, it still is one of a rewatchable show, a show that people will still, like, recommend, and it's still something that we will find relevant, so that says a
Yeah.
lot. Mm,
100%.
yeah.
Definitely.
So continuing on with the episode, we have the other storyline also wrapping up, which is that
Mhm.
Chidi finally meets Simone in real life to break up, and he handles it again very badly, and gets flustered and just basically tells her you're dumped, and
Yeah.
naturally she storms off. As we discussed before, this is a great like characterization for Chidi because it really shows that like his need to control and fixate on his like repercussions of his actions just gets the best of him, and that he ends up just acting so selfishly whenever he doesn't have an answer. And
Right.
that's what makes him a bad person. And I really think that shows a lot about like human nature because so many of us try to do the right thing, but we will end up being terrible in the process of doing the right thing. And Chidi is just like the testament of it.
Right. Exactly.
Um,
And and I do, but then this just shows like the growth, right? In
yes.
the
Mhm.
way he breaks up with her. And just
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it's like, look, I think like Eleanor kind of brings it up correctly. It's like,
Yeah,
when you look, you're gonna be the bad person in the breakup if you're the one
exactly.
breakup. So you can't
Mhm.
like you can't feel bad because at the end of the day it's for the best.
Yeah.
And Chidi kind of finally sort of figured that out.
Mhm.
A little bit of his out, might I add, is when Simone goes like, "Yeah, I made this for the best. You're freaking weird, dude."
Yeah, like she knew who she was dating.
Right, right.
Like for me, this is so many layers too. Because A, I think it shows that Eleanor really gets Chidi, and she's the only one that can really talk him off the ledge. Because like
Mhm.
the thing which like she knows exactly what to tell Chidi to like kind of like shake him out, which is that like Simone's world is bigger than you, dude. Like
Yeah,
your actions don't actually have that much of a repercussion in everyone else's lives as you think. And the whole like centering yourself is also part of the problem. Like
yeah.
I think especially with this day and age, we have this like main character syndrome. All of us think like, oh, well, we do make such a big difference, and it does, but it also really doesn't.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know, so like we can like slow, like you can calm down a bit and just recognize
Right.
that breaking up happens, and that like it won't ruin someone if you do break up with
Mhm.
them, because that's part of life, and bad things happen, and you will do bad things, but that doesn't make you a bad person. It's
Right.
just life, unfortunately.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
yeah, the final moment of this episode is one of my favorites, which is them talking to Pillboy. Michael, Tahani, and Jason meet up with Pillboy and tell him that they're part of NASA and they are secret astronaut spies. And he is part of their secret mission, giving us one of the best handshakes that is very emotional and hilarious at the same time.
It's like, I got you, bro. I
Jaguars rule!
got you, bro.
This
Oh my
episode
god.
is just hilarious. Like
Mhm.
it's so good and just so freaking funny. Like I don't think I've there's many funny episodes of television, but this episode is one of them. By far,
Yes.
like my top 10 for sure.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
for sure. No, there's a reason people talk about this show, this episode, and Donkey Doug. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And like I said, Pillboy's one of my favorites, and I think this is a great way to end Pillboy's storyline too. The
Yeah,
last
yeah.
notable moment is that they reveal that Eleanor's mother is alive, and that segues into the next episode.
Right.
But that recaps the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's definitely one of my favorites for
for
sure.
sure.
And again, a real testament to just the top to bottom character work that's so great in this show, along with the really deep storylines
Yeah. I also
that they were playing with.
Yeah, I also think it shows like the chemistry between the characters and the actors and how well they knew each other in order to deliver like such great dialogue. Because there's a lot of ridiculousness, but that's the other thing about The Good Place is that the show gets more and more ridiculous, but it stays grounded
Hmm.
throughout. And it's a character work. It's also the actors like chemistry and commitment to each other. And you really see that with like season 3 and these episodes where it just gets more crazy, but like you still feel like the heart between all of it.
And that's the end of the day. That's the thing at the end of the day for me with the show. It's just it can go big, it can go intimate,
Hmm.
and um the fact that like it found a way to be so many of these things while still weirdly about just figuring your life out. you
Yeah.
know
Hmm. Yeah,
it
no,
sounds so
exactly.
deeper than it maybe should be, but it is. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's a reason. There's a reason
Yeah.
that it's going to keep testing,
Mhm.
testing the time and shit.
Exactly. And this is why I will always recommend the show, why I'll always love talking about the show, why I chose to
Mhm.
talk about the show in the first place, and why it's my like number one show. Um, so that like ends our episode. Justin, where
Mhm.
can people find you if they wanted to follow you on social media?
You can find me on TikTok at Justin Quiz, Instagram Justin Quiz. Um, my Blue Sky is Justin Keyson. I forgot the full name of it. I'm still learning the full
Understandable.
Blue Sky thing. Also, I have a podcast as well. I'm a
Mhm.
co-host of a podcast called Nothing New, a remake podcast. I do that show monthly with my co-host Andrew Lindsay. We discuss and compare the original film with the current remake of said film, and I
Which is
don't know
probably a lot lately.
which is why we started the show. And I don't know you're going to be dropping this episode, but probably by the time it's out, we would have already done WonderCon.
Okay.
We had a
Yeah.
panel at WonderCon
Yes,
where we
most likely.
discussed.
Hmm.
We'll be talking about movie musicals in
Okay.
terms of remaking a movie into a musical. Then maybe possibly what happens when you do the stage version into a movie. See Mean Girls as an
Yeah, I was
example.
like, I think I know exactly what project you're talking about.
And then this month of March, we'll be covering the producers.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
nice. That's a good one. Yeah.
so
Perfect.
been doing that show since 2017. Yeah, 2017, and that's where you can find me and all my work.
Yeah. I also want to mention that he is a director, so if you want to plug
Yes.
in your movies as well, you can. I would highly recommend them as well.
Sure. I'm associate producer of a feature film called Olympia with a Vengeance, and kind of putting my money where my mouth is in terms of Filipino representation. This is a Filipino superhero family comedy about a vigilante who throws lumpia at Bad Guys.
Which we
It's real.
need. We need this.
Yes, you can buy it now digitally or physical copies at kidheroes.com. I also directed Mitch in two different projects. One you can see on my TikTok and my Instagram called Rock the Halls, a fake trailer that is about two brothers putting up Christmas lights, and I filmed it like it's a Michael Bay movie. And, and then we're finally doing. Hopefully, we'll get to do more, but we are getting ready for our first film festival premiere for Thick as Thieves, a 3 minute short film I did for the 48-hour Agbo competition that was produced by the Russo brothers. We didn't win, but I'm very proud of the short film I did. Mitch plays a very pivotal part in that as well, along with my buddies Law Sharma, Vivi Nguyen, and Earl Balon, and Jason Patrick Gallet, who are all in this film that we wrote, directed, and edited in 48 hours.
Wow.
So,
Amazing.
and I'm very, very, very proud of the final product. So, yeah,
That's amazing. And thank you again for coming on my show. It
I'm
was such a
I'm
pleasure to
honored.
talk to you about this. Like I said, we've talked about the show so much, and it's really great to like actually sit you down and get your thoughts because we love the show and we love talking about it. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. Mhm.
That wraps up today's episode. I hope you found a little bit of yourself in my media fueled ramblings. Remember, whether it's a sitcom, movie, or a random moment in your day, there's always a story to connect with. You can follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms. We're under Mario Watches Everything on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. It helps our show. If you want to support us even more, further, please subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends and family. Leave a comment. We love hearing from you. And of course, don't forget to follow our amazing guest, Justin, on his platforms. Until next time.